We're live.
Oh gosh.
Welcome
back. So welcome back to Viral Video. We haven't been on in several weeks. And why haven't we been on in several weeks? Because Noelle left the country.
I did leave. I left.
And so what the audience can't see is that before we went live, we embraced each other with like the warmest and deepest digital hug ever.
We are, Jeff.
What?
Oh, you fixed it. You fixed it now. We are in gallery view now, so we can see each other. Yes, we gave each other a virtual hug. A virtual hug.
We did because Jeff has been lonely on Mondays, and now it's Wednesday, but I'll take what I can get because you're back, and I cannot wait to hear it. I've been chomping at the bit to ask her questions, but I figured I would wait to share it with all of you.
You know, it's funny because I have had a lot of questions about this trip. And in some ways, Viral Video today is going to be a little off topic. We are going to talk a little bit about the video and all the stuff that I did, but I also thought it might be helpful just for the real estate community out there to talk about how do you leave your business for 3 weeks?
Touche.
How do you take off and leave a business for 3 weeks and come back to something? Could you do it?
I couldn't do it.
Could you do it?
No way.
And
no way.
You know, so I want to challenge people today while we are on this call. I want to challenge people to think about that and think about how much do we. Is that you or is that me?
Yep, I got it. Sorry.
Let's see. Okay. How much do we all get in real estate saying, hey, I want to be my own boss. Hey, I want to have control over my life. Hey, I want to have control over my business. But then we get ourselves to this point where we actually can't effectively even walk away. In fact, right before I left, I literally had been working 7 days a week, no breaks for a while. Like I hadn't had any breaks before I left. And taking that break for 3 weeks made me realize how badly I need to restructure things so that I can actually do that. Because
so think about that. So you worked your ass off leading up to it. Then you left your family for 3 weeks. So you'd already been, away from them for all.
Yes. It's not, I mean, I was not mom of the year this year. I wasn't. I'm just going to own it.
You know what? You have a strong backbone in Mr. Self-Nielsen. So I think you're well taken care of.
Well, and we, so I do want to talk about that because we do have a support system around us at home, which we don't ever talk about these things because we're usually talking about video, right?
Which we still will.
Which we will. We're going to talk about it because this is Viral Video. But I do want to talk about owning a business, being a working parent, running a business with your spouse in some ways. Seth, while he has another job, he's my partner in this business, and surrounding yourselves with help at home. So over this past year, we've had somebody living with us from Mexico. We've had an au pair from Mexico. She's lived with us for a whole year. She just started her second year now. There's no way, number one, I could have done what I just did without having her at the house also. So it wasn't just Seth. Our au pair, Isabel, was at the house helping out with things while I was gone. So I had things covered at home. Then I needed to make sure that things were covered at the office. And I have now, over the last year, set up my system so that I've got staff in place to take over when I'm not here. So I even had videos being produced while I was gone. I had videos being produced. I had emails being answered. I had staff in place. If you're going to run a business effectively, you also need to make it so that you can step away from the business and the business can just keep going without you there. Mm-hmm. So I want to encourage everybody to evaluate. If you needed to go somewhere or an opportunity presented itself to you, Jeff, and you were able to go somewhere for 3 weeks or a month, could you do it? Could you do it?
No.
I would have said
no. I already answered.
No, I would have said no. I would have said no.
Right now for me, no, because I have a little one at home and I can't stand. I hate being away from her for a few days at a time.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing, and like I missed my kids while I was gone and stuff. But sometimes in life, opportunities present themselves, and you have to jump on it.
And this was a unique one. So let me ask you this before we get into the Africa piece. And your business did not crash and burn.
No, it didn't. In fact, I sold some houses while I was gone.
It's usually how it works.
And had closings while I was gone. So it was fine. And we are coming into fourth quarter now. So it's time to ramp it up and keep going. And it is an adjustment. I will say coming back after being gone for that long has been a little bit of an adjustment. And I've had severe jet lag this week. And that wasn't something that I planned very well for. But I'm surviving. It's going to be fine.
Well, good. Well, good. Well, you were flying back west, so you gained a bunch of time coming home, right? You gained what you lost going there.
I don't even know. Like when there's an 8-hour time difference,
Sure.
it's, you know,
Well, I'm sure there was multiple layovers as well, or at least one.
I didn't have jet lag going there. I had jet lag coming back.
Okay.
Going there, we actually, one of our flights got delayed. Our flight out of Chicago to Ethiopia got delayed. So we hopped on that flight, but then when we landed in Ethiopia, which was a 15-hour flight on the way there and an 18-hour flight on the way back, when we landed in Ethiopia, we missed our flight to Malawi, so we had to stay overnight in Ethiopia.
Wow. Interesting. That had to be
crazy.
Was it fun?
It was so part of it is traveling with gear. So let's talk about that. I had a different feeling about it than everybody else that I was traveling with because I had a backpack full of cameras and camera gear and batteries. My backpack probably weighed 40 pounds. Like it probably weighed as much as my suitcase. It really did.
Good workout.
And I had been warned by another videographer friend of mine that if you don't get registered with all of your licensed equipment, so this is for people that are going to travel with gear outside of the country. If you don't get registered with the FAA with all of your gear, there's a chance that you could get stopped at customs coming back with them trying to make you pay for the gear, even though it's your own, trying to make you pay to be able to keep your gear with you.
Specifically like a camera, or are we talking all the way down to the tripods and everything?
Like the professional, like the stuff that's more expensive, like lenses and the camera gear and whatnot. But I didn't find this out till the day I was supposed to leave, and I did not have time. So I just took the risk and did not register any of my stuff. And it all went fine, but I don't recommend it. Like if I were going to do it again, I for sure would register my stuff.
That's a good video tip right there. If you're flying out of the country and you're bringing video gear, especially camera and lenses and expensive stuff, you better get it registered.
Yep.
How do you register? Where do you register at?
You go to the airport and I think you check in with customs here to say, there's an office that you can go to say, hey, this is my gear. Here's my license numbers. I prove that I own it before I'm leaving. And then they give you a card that then you take with when you come back. Gotcha.
And how do you prove that you own it if you don't have receipts?
Well, you better have receipts because you better have bought your gear with your business card.
What did you buy it 3 years ago?
I don't know if you're organized.
I wouldn't save it. I would use it for when I needed it, and then I'd be done with it. I guess I'd have it digitally, maybe.
I mean, I don't think you need to show your receipts. You would probably just show your license on that. You know, all of the higher end gear will have serial numbers on it, and that's what they want is your serial numbers.
Okay, so why did you go to Africa? Where specifically did you go, and why did you go there?
I went to Malawi.
Where's that?
Which most people have no idea where it is.
Tell me.
You know where it is? I just was there and you never even looked. You never even bothered. Of course.
I didn't. I just watched all your pictures and videos.
So it's the southeast side of Africa. And what we were doing, it was in part a missions trip, but also I wanted to go because I wanted to document and video and photograph everything that this nonprofit has done over there for the last several years and all the projects and things that they're trying to accomplish in this country. They've never had anything professionally documented. And so the opportunity presented itself. My parents were going, and I just decided I was gonna do it. I was gonna go. So we started preparing for it.
How long ago? How long ago did you decide this?
Probably about 3 months ago. So it's not been like that long that I've known that I was gonna go.
Most people plan vacations further out than that, like week-long vacations.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I have a trip like next week that I've got to try to book. So.
Well, that's business probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's different.
Yeah.
Okay. So go on. And it was a mission. And so like, what kind of stuff, what were you there to do? Obviously it was something religious related and what'd you do?
Yes. So, I mean, the way that it works in some of these countries is that they are controlled by or directed by the religious organizations within the country. A lot of them. So this nonprofit in particular works through pastors to go out and help the community like stabilize itself because they really have no government system there. I have none. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like we can't comprehend what it is like. Like I thought I knew what I was walking into, and then when I got there, I was just kind of mind blown.
In a good way.
No, not in a good way.
In a freaked out way.
In a I can't believe this exists.
This world exists, right?
In our world, in our times when we are so used to all of the conveniences and the luxuries. And granted, I was just coming off a string of sitting in a very nice model through our parade of homes. I've been sitting in a luxury model over the last month and a half. So I went from sitting in a $2 million home and helping people pick out $4,000 cappuccino machines to go in their walls to go to a country where they are basically homeless in the entire country. Like they build their houses out of mud bricks that they make from the ground in their village. Like
sure.
they don't really have houses. A few people have houses, but not most.
Like you're talking about with like wood, a house, not a mud house.
Even the brick houses, Jeff,
right.
They're smaller than what most people would use as a garden shed.
Yeah, a closet nowadays. I mean, most people have rooms as closets.
The master closet in the house that I've been sitting in is about 4 times the size of one of these houses. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm very serious about that.
I believe it. So it makes you realize how fortunate we all are.
Well, and our profession does not exist in their world. So when they say, well, what do you do for your profession? How do you describe? Oh, I sell houses. They don't.
How did you describe it?
I tried to describe it like what I do, but at the same time, you kind of have to guard it a little bit because even though you would think that they're very aware of America, they actually aren't. Like they have access to Facebook, and now some of them have become my Facebook friends, and they are going to see American lifestyle through my Facebook, and that's just the way it's going to be, and they're going to see it, and they're going to be exposed to it. But
where do they have access to Facebook?
Huh?
Where do they have access to Facebook?
Despite the living conditions, everybody has phones. They don't have iPhones. They don't have these iPhones. They have like second and third hand market phones. So, like when you go to the Apple store and you trade in your phone to buy a new one and they take that phone back from you. Like my current phone right now, I'm just on like a monthly lease on my phone. That's how Verizon does it. I don't know. When I go to get my iPhone 11 this week, which I'm upgrading now that I'm back from Africa, now I'm going to get the new one. They will take this phone back. That phone goes somewhere, right? Those phones get sold on secondhand markets, and then they get sold on third-hand markets. So a lot of times the phones that they get, they go out I actually gave money to somebody to buy a phone. I gave him $50 and it bought him a nice phone that he can take photos with and WhatsApp with. And then they're on like minute to minute plans. So they don't have a monthly plan like we have. They live out of necessity. So they will go and buy minutes for that day.
Wow.
And then they'll run out. Then the next time they have more money, they'll go and buy more minutes.
So think about this. You're really going to screw these people over, because what's going to happen is they're going to go buy 2 minutes to go check on you on Facebook. You're going to have a 4-minute video and they're not going to be able to watch the whole thing.
I don't know. I can't think about it like that. Today is the first day that I haven't cried since I've been back. I've been crying a lot since I've come back. It's definitely, it is changed me. It has changed me. I thought before I went on this trip that I knew what I was about to walk into, number one. Number two, I thought that when I came home, I would be okay, I knew I want to do further work to help, and we're going to talk about that next. But I didn't think that I would be as emotionally impacted as I have been. I've been wrecked, basically.
As in your emotion and caring for these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And evaluating some of the things that we concern ourselves with here every day.
Sure.
Useless things that maybe don't deserve the stress or time or attention that we give it, especially us in the real estate industry. Yes, everybody has stress and stuff, but I feel like we tend to wear it on our sleeves even more. I don't know.
Over dramatize would be the right word.
Yeah. And our clients over dramatize things. I mean, my client will never see this. My client that I was working with the day before I left, we were literally standing in the appliance store. They had a $50,000 budget for appliances and they blew past it.
Wow.
And it was a stressful thing for me to watch it. It wasn't stressful for them because they had the money to blow past their budget. But,
so ridiculous.
Something like that is not something that you would be thinking about. In Africa, you would be thinking about, where is my next meal going to come from? And they bike around on their bikes with chickens upside down, squawking, hanging there, because that's going to be their meal that night.
Wow.
So anyway, so nonprofits with business, it's something that I had started thinking about, back when I started Bright Birch and having video available to us. I wanted to make video available to nonprofits here locally, to my agents that are a part of what we're doing, so that they could promote some of their nonprofit stuff. And we've been doing that over the last year. So this was just an added element of it, a way to use video through your real estate business to promote, just like we would promote restaurants locally or do the community things that we're talking about. It's just another added element to be able to promote nonprofits. And now I've experienced another element to that of another country. And how can we, with all of the things that we have been blessed with, and when we help people here buy or sell a home, how can we take some of that and give back to a community that can't even hardly get a roof, literally have a roof over their head? Mm-hmm. So my brain is spinning now on top of doing real estate business. What can I do with our real estate business to impact another community, and how is it sustainable? And then how can we grow it? So you will be hearing and seeing more of it.
I imagine so.
Ends.
I imagine so. I know how you work. When things change, we hear a lot about it.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's talk about video. Here we are on Viral Video. And my first thought is, and I think a lot of people's thought is, well, of course, it's like a vacation, right? You're going to go there and you're going to document your travels. It's like a vlog. And this is not a vacation, I get it, but it's travels. Okay, let me clarify that. It's travels. You're documenting your travels. But how? So tell us a little bit about how you did that, what you did, what you documented, but then also tell us a little bit more about how you're going to use it, what you're going to do with it. I'm curious.
So I'm still going through the footage, 3 weeks of taking solid footage every day. There's a lot of footage and a lot of photos. So it's going to take me a while on top of a normal schedule here to get through everything. Right. Mm-hmm. I brought my normal vlog setup, which is an 80D, a Canon 80D, and my 24-70 lens, which is a very heavy setup. And if I return, which I most likely will, I probably won't take that camera with me next time. I'm just going to go off my iPhone, honestly. Yep, you heard it here first, people. I'm going to bring my new iPhone, which is the new iPhone, and I want to talk about that next week. The new iPhone is going to blow the game up. Like, video is now available for everybody with the new iPhone.
As if it wasn't before.
I know, but I'm even talking about how I'm going to switch over to using the iPhone. Okay. I did not bring a drone. I would bring a drone.
Definitely you better register that.
You do have to register it, although they don't have the flying restrictions there that we have here in the United States.
Other than maybe like a local gang or military shooting it down.
I didn't even see military people there.
No.
And then I would bring, for sure, there's dust and sand everywhere there, like dust storms, and it's kind of scary with really nice gear to have it out when all of the dust and the sand and the stuff is blowing. So I probably would bring some more protective stuff for my gear, because I didn't have anything like that. And then I just have to shove it in my bag when it started raining sand on us, basically.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
Okay, the kind of things that I was shooting, that was difficult because I was not in control of our daily schedule, which I like to be in control. Shocking, I know. I have
no idea.
So I was kind of under the pressure, under the gun, wherever I was taken, and I had to get whatever I wanted to get documented done. So I'm sure as I start going through the footage that there are things that I would have done differently and that I will do differently the next time. I wanted to try to have a storyline pre-written of like what I was there to capture. But every time I started trying to create the storyline, it changed. So it is going to be a little bit of a mess to try to tell the story of everything that happened now post shooting it, because it's not like it can just hop back there and reshoot something.
Right.
So we might end up taking some of the imagery and doing a voiceover with it.
Cool.
So yeah,
So
a documentary style.
Give us a teaser of the story.
A teaser of the story.
Yeah, like it's a preview to a movie. What can I expect?
Oh, you're gonna see everything that I just described, and I'm gonna create an emotional experience around what I just experienced. So I think I'm gonna put out a series of videos, but the first one that's gonna come out is just a visual experience of what I saw, lifestyle there, culture experience there, the sounds that I heard there. We did do a safari for one day. So we did do one safari thing. But you think of Africa and you think, oh, you think of like what you see in a movie, and that's just not, it's not it. That's not what it's like now. They've almost gotten all the big like safari animals are like set on these reserves. So when you're driving around in Africa, you would never just see like
a giraffe,
an elephant.
Yeah.
There were hippos outside of the lodge that we were seeing.
I saw that. I saw them poking their heads out of the water.
Yes, I saw a lot of hippos. So that will be part of it, but really the big thing is just the people, right? And just kind of creating, I want to pull some heartstrings around it, because now I've got a mission behind what I want to do. To
do good for the people that you have now been exposed to.
Yeah. Yep. And then as the series come out, there's a couple different ways that the organizations are running over there. So I'll have to tell their stories and see, because some people might be interested in supporting a small micro business loan situation. Some people might be interested in making sure that these little kids have food to eat at school. Some people might be interested in putting roofs over the structures that they're building for themselves to sleep in. So everybody is going to feel called. Some people might care about getting them clean water because most of them don't even have clean water. So I have to go through then and break everything down and have a series of videos that are going to come out with it all.
Okay, cool. So this is going to be a multi-part series. How many parts are you thinking?
Oh, there's gonna be a lot. I was there for 3 weeks.
This is high level stuff, man. This is really high level, but I think it's going to give anybody who follows you kind of the context. And this is, again, to me, this is like advanced high level stuff because most of us aren't ever going to experience this. But take what she's doing and learn how to integrate this same kind of concept of telling stories and sharing your life, right? Because that's exactly what you're doing here, except you're going to be doing it way deeper, way more meaningful with a massive cause behind it, where when I travel, I'm just sharing my travels.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it's not something that, it's something that is uncomfortable. So a lot of people are going to want to look away from it if I don't show it in the right way. It's just human nature. People don't want to acknowledge that there's poverty out there. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. And I'm aware. Crappy. It's crappy, but it's very true. Like, we are very comfortable in our life here. We're very comfortable. I'm very comfortable going out and getting in my nice car and turning on my seat heater and driving myself home to my house and pushing my garage door button and loading my dishes into the dishwasher. Like, it's like stuff like that that you just take for granted every day.
Yeah, I can imagine. I wouldn't be gone for 3 weeks, but I think the experience in and of itself, because I guess, again, when you think of it like an African vacation, I say vacation because you go there to experience this, the desert, or you go there to go on a safari. But this is totally different because you're immersing yourself in a culture that is like, you don't realize exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
And they're all about, awesome. So there's some things like, I think I talked about this on my live today. I think it's our natural response, be like the American response of, oh, we're going to go in and we're going to fix everything, right? We got to fix it. And they have such amazing community there that I don't think they need fixing necessarily.
They don't want to be fixed, I'm sure.
They need help toward basic needs because they have such a corrupt government system there. And that's the problem, is the money does not flow to the right areas. So they have no economy now. They have no economy there. They're like the third poorest country in the whole entire world, where I just went. So, yeah. And so then I came back on Saturday and went on Sunday to sit back in my mall.
I bet your kids were pretty excited to see you.
They were, but I've been traveling so much for work lately that they also have grown somewhat to be accustomed to me, and being gone.
Sure.
But yeah, they were happy to have me home, and I was happy to be home.
So how did the locals take to being videoed? So when you got out your cameras, when you got out your cell phone, how did they react?
They absolutely know what cameras are.
I believe it.
They like to be videoed. My Tori is looking through my footage right now, and we were laughing because some of the kids, like, they really wanted to be on the video. And then when you have your phone and you video them and you can play it back to them, they love that. Like, that's the most fun thing. Or like, I was showing them videos of my kids downhill skiing. They couldn't even comprehend snow.
Sure.
They don't have snow there. But yeah, the one thing that was potentially an issue that I didn't really think a lot or overthink, but is security. So you're walking around with a lot of camera equipment, and you have to make sure that you have people around you that know where you are, that you trust, because that could be an issue.
Sure, of course.
With all that gear out.
So you were always traveling, you were always with someone, I presume.
Yeah, we had, you have a driver. So nobody really drives cars there. There's not too many people that drive cars. They mostly walk or ride bike to where they need to go. But for us to get to where we needed to go, we had to have a driver and a car. So the driver was also kind of like our interpreter, and they would come with us to bring us to these locations that we needed to go to. And the drivers there know all the areas. So it's like a cabbie in New York, like they know where they should go and not go. So that was a thing. And at the end of the trip, the driver was the one that said, next time I come back, I need to have more security.
Well, I mean, you survived.
I made it. Yeah.
Well, what about, so you mentioned language. So what about the people that you were spending the most time with? Did they not speak English?
No, English is in that country. English is actually the primary language, but most of them don't speak it. Most of them speak the local language, which is Chichewa.
Okay.
So, and I'm a linguist. I love picking up language stuff. So by the end of the week was picking up the language and or by the end of the trip. And, now I want to go back. Now I want to learn the new language. I don't know what I'll do with it, but.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do with it other than use it there. It sounds to me like you're probably going to be and this is going to be an annual thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Next thing, bring Seth.
If Seth has his way. No, it won't be.
Well, you have to bring him with you. It'll change him as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think going to Africa is for everyone. I'm going to say it.
Fair. Yeah. No, I probably for very few, actually. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to have a lot of shots before you go there.
Or going to Africa for me is going to be going with my videographer, Papa, who is from Ghana, where his family is very wealthy and owns an amusement park. So, I mean, I'm sure my experience in Africa would be completely different than yours.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, that's not what I experienced there.
That's really cool. Well, I am very happy for you. I'm very happy that you're back. I'm very happy that you got to experience this. I'm excited to see it. I think most people are. I think everybody's excited to see this. What else? Anything else to share from this trip?
It is not a bad idea, I don't think, in life, as we are doing this on Facebook, to take some time to unplug from social media.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think, it's funny. I would go on social media to share a few things like every couple days, right? We had internet access at the place that we were staying at night. So I did have some internet access if I needed to check on things, to reach back home, whatever. Mm-hmm. And shockingly, the country had 3G. So my phone did kind of work over there. I couldn't make phone calls with it, but I could access internet on it.
And it probably isn't bogged down with a lot of people using it, so it actually was probably not bad. Oh, really?
It wasn't great. Like, it was very slow. It's not like we have here. But I was not on social media as much as I am when I'm home.
Of course.
And I have noticed a rise in my anxiety getting back on social media as much as we tend to be on it, especially the two of us, with as much as we do on social media and all the Facebook groups that we're a part of and whatnot. But so I would challenge all of you to schedule some social media breaks for yourself during the week. That's one of my goals I'm taking away from this. Like, when am I going to take social media breaks? Because otherwise I'm kind of always on. Like, it's always on. Mm-hmm. Do you ever take breaks from it?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are days when I don't check it all day and I go back, but there's never a day that I don't check it or don't not check it. You know what I mean? Because you can't. I mean, to me, it's a business now, and if I don't, it's like email. If I don't do it, I've got that many more. Like, I don't go onto social media to scroll it. I go on to respond to notifications, to engage. That's really what it's all about, and to support my peeps, right? I mean, that's what it's all. It's a business.
Where your community is.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the thing. Like, where I just went, they don't have this sort of thing. Their community is like the good old-fashioned community. They walk outside of their thing and they sit in a circle and they sing songs and they play soccer. Whereas we go on Facebook and social media. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because it's a super powerful tool. And it's actually a way that I'm going to stay connected with them. It's a way that we do business here. And we are blessed to be in a country where we've got enough progression and development that we get to do that. We get to do community on our terms at our time, like when we choose to turn it on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the downside is like you said, we still go to bonfires and we still go to barbecues and we still hang out, but then we're all sitting in a circle checking our phones, you know?
Yeah.
That's
And
that's the bad part.
The kids over there are very, for the most part, happy, and their moms are super attentive to them. And it's interesting to watch it. And the kids were really well behaved. Like, we visited a lot of schools, and the kids were really, really well behaved at the schools. And there was no this except for like the people that we were with.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So anyway.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, and I, again, not to beat social media up, because I was having a conversation this morning with somebody. I just posted right before this about a conversation I had with a gal named Erin Bradley, who I met as a result of, Lab Coat Agent Connections. I interviewed on her podcast. She interviewed on mine, and she called me this morning because she had some questions. We were collaborating, and she's like, it's really fascinating how social media makes the world so much smaller. And
it does.
And it's like connections. Like, you and I would never have met if it wasn't for Lab Coat Agents, if it wasn't for social media in general.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of pluses to it, of course.
No, I still love social media. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't have social media. I'm just saying we should plan, just like we time block for everything else. You should time block social media breaks into your day. Because if you're like me, my phone is almost always in my hand. I'm always checking it. There is no break. And so, that's all I'm saying.
I love it. I love it. And I like how you said it too, because a lot of people actually do the opposite. They say, I'm going to set aside social media time. You're saying basically, let's be real here, people, you're on social media all the time. So just set breaks. Don't work at the other, just reverse engineer what a lot of people say they do.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that's smart.
Yeah. Like, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Maybe when you're home with your kids, don't go on social media.
I think Christy just said she does no social media on the weekends. I don't know how you do it. That's crazy. I don't. I actually intentionally try to share family moments on the weekends because there's more of them.
Yeah.
But more power to you.
All right. Well, so that was kind of
that was good. I mean, it was fun. I'm glad we did this because I couldn't have waited another whole week. And it was fun to hear about this because it's different. This is totally different. And this is just another testament to how we can tie video back into our lives, not just for business, but for travels and for doing good. And you're going to do a hell of a lot of good with the video that you created. And you're probably going to raise more money than I can imagine right now because of what you're going to do for that country. And that country is going to be, those people are going to be so grateful to you. It's pretty awesome.
Well, and that's the thing that I keep wanting to tell people is how powerful video is. It's not just about making funny, clever videos like I've been known for, but I do a lot of other things with the video that I don't necessarily put out there for myself. I'm putting it out there for other people, for other entities. And without having that as a part of my business, I wouldn't have even gone to Africa because that was the whole point for me to go there. That was my thing that I went to go there to do. So you can use video to benefit other, it's just a way to give back.
I love it. One more thing I want to say, I meant to say it earlier because I just noticed Seth was watching. I don't know if he's still watching, but he did a Facebook Live while you were gone. That the whole running up the driveway, which at first I was like, "What the hell are you doing, Seth? Oh God, Noelle's gone. Don't do it." And then he did it, and I was like, "This is really good. This is a great idea."
I know. I was like, "Oh, he decides to start doing video when I'm gone."
That was great. I was messaging with him, and I was like, "Dude, that was really awesome. That was a great way to display." An example of having a big piece of property. It was totally unique. I loved it. It was great.
It is. It's a 6-acre lot. So there's that.
It's good stuff. All right. Well, awesome. Well, I'm glad you're back. So we'll be back on next Monday, I believe. Yes, we will.
I think so. And I actually might have some guests line up who are coming here to visit me in Minnesota. So maybe we can work that out.
Cool. Sounds good. So if we don't have guests, we'll do an iPhone 11. And if we do an iPhone 11, let's bring on somebody who's got the iPhone 11 because I don't plan on getting it anytime soon because I'm too cheap.
I will have it within the next 2 weeks. So iPhone 11 review will either be next week or the following.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching. Christy, I think you're a better person than I am. I'm going to tell you right now. And you're a really good person for sitting up front and working with this woman all day long.
And that's a huge part of the reason why I was able to go. There we go.
Touche. Hi, Tristan. We're just finishing. You're going to have to go back and watch it later, buddy.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye-bye.